Hi, my name's Kerry, and I'm here to tell you my testimony of my life and my death, and my resurrection, and all that. Well, I'm in the hospital right now in Lubbock, but I'm doing this video, and well, when I was younger, I was addicted to drugs real bad. Methamphetamines was my drug that I did, and there was a couple years, that I had quit and got off and was doing real good, and then, I was with God and, doing all the things that God wanted me to do. I got born again and saved and was going to church every day and doing things that I thought were right, and slowly, the devil comes in and, my kids started fighting constantly and, stealing my car and doing things that normal teenagers, well, some teenagers do. I'm going to say normal teenagers, but and it just got to be too much for me, and I was, instead of turning to God and hanging on to God and His promises, I turned my back on God and started doing drugs again, and flirting with the devil and doing things that I knew that was wrong. I started stealing from the store again when I used to know that God would always take care of me, but I started stealing kids' clothes and stealing stuff from the store, and then doing drugs, and just one thing after another, one sin after another, till it started piling up. And I knew I needed to stop, but I didn't. My mom would try to get me, to Kerry, are you on that stuff, and checking my arms and seeing if I was, if I had marks on my arms and stuff. And so I started doing it in my stomach. I started injecting it into my stomach so that my mom wouldn't see, that I was doing it again. And I had missed one day, and I missed some of it, and it got into my stomach, I guess, and I didn't think nothing of it. 2-3 months went by, and I just was real sick, got real sick, and I was sweating and running a fever and feeling like I was just going to die, and I knew that I had to go to the hospital. I was going to try to fight it because I didn't want to tell the hospital what I had done. So I was trying to fight it and not go, but I went, and they flew me to Lubbock. They opened me up, and I was just completely infested with that flesh bacteria eating disease, and it was in my guts, in my everywhere in my stomach. They took out like 20 pounds, I think, of that infection out of me, and they told my mom I wasn't going to make it. They called everybody in my family and said I wouldn't make it through the night, to find a motel close by so that when I had died they could call her and tell her to, that I had passed away. And sure enough, I was there, and I remember everything. I remember everything shutting down, and them saying, that my heart shut down, my kidneys shut down, my everything. I remember them saying all this, and I remember them closing my eye and putting me in the body bag, and I remember saying, God, I don't want to die to be known, my kids knowing me as just a junkie, and I don't want to die like this, Lord. I remember all the promises that God had made to me, and I just didn't want to die like this. And during all this, God was like, had angels or something leading my mom. My mom was looking for a motel, and she had stopped at that Sin City. She didn't know it was a church. She just parked there, and somebody happened to come outside, and she's like, my daughter's dying, and I just need to find a motel so that I can be close by the hospital. And they invited her in, and they prayed for her, and they prayed for me, and said, well, your daughter's healed at 7:40. 6:40. Oh, 6:40, I mean. And I had, they had pronounced me dead at 6:35. They pronounced me dead. They put me in the body bag, closed the zipper. Well, they had forgot a tool in there, and they were looking for a tool that they had lost, and they unzipped me in my eye. They said her eyes opened again. And he got right up to my face, and he said, sounds like she's almost trying to breathe, but I'm just going to let her go, because I was so infested with that stuff. There was no saving me anyway. The doctor told me he had given up on me, but his wife told him, because she was a surgeon too, his wife told him to put her on life support. So they put me on life support. I only had a 20% chance to live. And during this time, they had been praying for me, and my mom came back to the hospital to see if I was okay, because they said she's going to live. Well, when my mom came back, they said that, she has a 20% chance to live, and then they had opened me back up, and all that, they were going to do it like 4 more times, clean me out, try to clean me out as best as they could, but it was too much. But they said that when they opened me back up, that it was completely gone, that all that nasty infection that was inside of me. It looked like somebody had went in there and just cleaned me with a rag, and it was like the cleanest stomach you've ever seen. And so they just put me back together, and there was a huge hole. My whole stomach was gone, you know, and I was like wondering, what am I going to do? Looking like this, I ruined myself. But God promised me, you know, that He would heal me, and now they put me on this wound vac, and it's slowly bringing my stomach together. I got half of my stomach back already, and I've only been on it for a month. But that's my testimony, and I just thank God that, you know, these guys were there at the right time to pray for me. God used them to raise me from the dead, and I thank God that I'm alive right now. I thank God that He's given me another chance to live and not die, to be able to serve Him. But I just, if anybody, you know, is on drugs and thinks that it's okay, I also watched 2 people die here that I heard about. The nurses told me, you know, off methamphetamines is not anything to play around with. I mean, that you can smoke it. It grows inside around your heart. It grows in your arteries. It'll break, that bacteria will break off and break in and kill you at your heart, you know, and it's just not, I think it's straight from the devil. I think that drug's straight from the devil to kill all God's children here, you know, that get on it. And there was a girl that she had it in her arm, the same thing, she missed. She had it in her arm. They were going to cut her arm off. They told her, well, we'll cut your arm off and you'll live. And she said, well, I got to think about that. And in that hour, it made it to her heart and it killed her. It also made it to my heart, but I got a heart infection that I'm taking antibiotics for. It made it to my heart. It didn't kill me, but thank God. I mean, it killed me, but God brought me back. But I'm just here, and I just want to be able to tell everybody, you know, that God's real and that He loves us, and also that the devil's real and he hates us, and that drugs, nothing but the devil. And, you know, if I could help anybody, you know, from my story, I just want to be able to help them, and that's all.